Hello, everybody, and welcome to part 3 of me rambling about the new Forgotten Realms book. Because I want to, and it's 10 p.m. I just got off work, and I'm in the brain space to just kind of talk about things. So I'm glad you're here. If you're here, I'm all a good for it. Please. Okay. If you don't know, this is just going to be me majorly unscriptedly going through, as you can probably tell from the title and the description and all the new feats, which is a much longer list than the subclasses and the spells. So I don't know what I'm going to get done recording. But I'm here for it. I'm here for it, and I hope you're here for it too. Oh, also, I'm testing out some new audio settings that I'm sure I will find out if they sound good later, and you might not just hear this entire ramble if I don't think they sound right. But if they do, I'm gonna leave it in just because I want to. And why not? Anyway, not to put this off too much, but I am gonna be having my second stream on Tuesday, same time as last time. 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Tuesday. What would Tuesday be? Tuesday would be the 11th. Oh, Veterans Day. I guess I'll be streaming on Veterans Day. We're gonna be playing the next 2 episodes of Dispatch, and I think I've made the decision that I'm gonna be playing Ori and the Blind Forest and next, and probably the next Ori game after that, once I beat Ori for the next game I'm gonna play on the channel. But I'm sure I'll make some other kind of announcement. But anyway, let's get on to this long list of things. I don't know how long I'm gonna be recording. There is a ton of new feats. A lot of them are new origin feats. A lot of the new are new general feats, and there's a lot of epic boons here as well. I do remember skimming through all of these, but and looking closely at some of them, but not all of them. So this might be my kind of more processed take of them live on camera. So, if that's something you're into, I'm here. Anyway, starting with the origin feats, I suppose. And by the way, in the new Forgotten Realms book, they added a bunch of new backgrounds and whatnot with a lot of these new origin feats. But the first one is the Cult of the Dragon Initiate. Obviously, since it's an origin feat, there's no prerequisite or anything beyond taking the background of Cult of the Dragon. You will get Dragon's Tongue, Dragon's Terror, and Inspired by Fear. Dragon's Tongue is you get Draconic. If you don't already know Draconic, when you select this feat, and you instead learn a different language of your choice. If you have Draconic already, language. It was a good language. We like language. I like being able to speak a lot of languages. Dragon's Terror is you get to make the magic action to instill terror in people within 30 feet of you, creatures, not just people. The target must succeed a Wisdom saving throw plus your Wisdom DC plus your Wisdom modifier, Wisdom modifier and proficiency bonus, or have the Frightened condition. Oh, you get scary. And if they succeed, they are immune to the effect for the next 24 hours. Then Inspired by Fear is when you cause a creature to have the Frightened condition, and you are the source of the fear, you gain a hero inspiration if you lack it. Once you use this benefit, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. So we get to scare people in a big 30-foot area of yourself. And whenever we inflict the frightened condition, you can gain heroic inspiration, which allows you to have a reroll of the die immediately after you use it, but you have to use the new roll. Honestly, I wish that you could choose which mental score to have this DC based on, because I might open it up. Because the thing that comes to mind to me first, whenever I see, I also just ate. When I see Inspired by Fear, is the freaking Undead Warlock, where you're going to be constantly throwing fear on everything around you, constantly getting heroic inspiration, which is going to encourage you to never mind, ignore that entire thing, can't use it again until you finish a short run. So you get it once. Still, being able to reliably get a hold of a reroll, because you're going to be, fearing everybody anyway as a undead warlock. So yeah, might as well, I suppose. It's not too bad. It is an origin feat, so they're not supposed to be like too incredibly insano style. Though alert's pretty good, and tough is pretty good. There's a few that are pretty good. But anyway, yeah, I mean, Cult of the Dragon stuff. I can't think much more to talk about it. Again, pretty much just that I wish I could choose which mental stat this DC is based on, and Undead Warlock or Conquest Paladin. Conquest Paladin that wants to do fear a lot as well. I played a character where I was a Conquest Paladin, where I was a Undead Conquest Paladin, because if you know the Conquest Paladin, it's got that aura effect later on that anybody feared by you has their speed reduced to 0, and other shit happens to them later on the level. So I was Undead Warlock 1 and Conquest Paladin freaking 9 or something by the end of that adventurously type thing that my game store did. And it was fun. I enjoyed kind of being a little bit of a menace, honestly. Because once that build, don't get me wrong, it takes until level 8 to get that build's combo online properly. But once it's online, you're kind of a fucking menace, not gonna lie. And even before then, not every, depending on where you're using it, this is completely off topic of the Cult of the Dragon Initiate. So you know what? I'll shut up now and move on to the next one, which is the Emerald Enclave Fledgling. You gain the following benefits. You always have Speak of Animals prepared, and you can cast it with any spell slots you have. Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma is your spellcasting ability for it. When you cast a spell as a ritual, its duration is 8 hours. And then you also get Tag Team. When you take the help action, you can switch places with a willing ally. In 5 feet of yourself, part of the same action. This maybe doesn't cause opportunity attacks, and you can't use this benefit if the ally has the incapacitated condition. I do appreciate having an option for other characters to get Speak with Animals and as a ritual for a while, because for whatever reason, if you were, I don't know, a barbarian or a rogue or a fighter or something, and for some reason you wanted to be able to talk to animals, you have it here. You have this here, and it might not be the most powerful choice, definitely not the most powerful choice, but it's a thematic one. And if your character wanted to be able to talk to animals as one of those classes that don't typically be able to talk to animals, not where you're not a ranger or a druid or something, then it's here for you. It's here. It's right there. It's great. Tag Team, though, I think is honestly kind of useless. I don't know. Like, I'm all for things that affect the help action, because I do have a build that I've wanted to do, and I'll talk about it later when I get the Harper stuff. But I just maybe you could snatch people out of a grapple, I guess. You could switch places with them, maybe. I feel like this could have been a bit better if it gave some other benefit than just switching places. Like maybe a partial, what's that Battlemaster thing? It's called bait and switch. Maybe not adding that AC or anything, but maybe something. Or it's tag team. Why not, if you take the help action, or I guess you're taking an action, so you wouldn't get attacks anyway. But what if you took the help action, and by taking the help action to help an ally, your next attack or something had advantage or something like that, because it's tag team. You're working together, not just taking this guy and swapping places and whatnot. I don't know what that is, but that doesn't bring initially entirely tag team tactics to my mind. But yeah, I don't know what else to talk about other than that. Not a pretty niche case for this one, I think. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy having the option to be able to talk to animals as some other type of character than a druid or a ranger, if I for some reason wanted to. But you know, anyway, on to Harper Agent. I was just talking about this. Thieves can't. That is not terrible. I mean, it's a language, right? So it's not the most impactful thing in the world all the time. But there's not, other than being a rogue, there's not a ton of ways to get Thieves Can't. I think anyway. You also gain proficiency with the musical instrument of your choice. Whatever. Now your fighter knows how to bongo real good. Hey, if it's the right choice for you, then it's the right choice for you. Then you get Distracting Melody. When you take the help action to assist an ally's attack roll, the enemy you're distracting can be within 30 feet of you rather than 5 feet of you, provided the enemy can see or hear you. Now, I have some things to talk about this feature here, but I might save them until I talk about the upgraded version of this feat, the general one that you can take if you have Harper Agent. Otherwise, generally, it's not. I mean, it gives you another option. Like, for some reason, if you're like a melee fighter or something like that, you're melee barbarian or something. I don't know. And you can't for some reason make an attack or do something what you normally do, then you could take the help action to help an ally within 30 feet of you. And, that's a pretty solid distance, I think. But anyway, I'm gonna save my thoughts and what I'm gonna say for when I get to the upgraded version of this feat later, because I think I have something. I have something cooking up. Is it good? Probably not, but it's something. Onto Lord's Alliance Agent. You get the following benefits: Inspiring Strike and Reassert Honor. I don't know how to say that word. Or Reassert Honor. I don't know. Maybe, y'all can call me stupid in the comments. For Inspiring Strikes, once per turn when you score a critical hit against a creature, you can choose an ally and give them who lacks Heroic Inspiration and give them Heroic Inspiration. And that happens every single time you crit once per turn. So you can be, if you want to crit fish with the champion and give out consistent, not consistent, I mean, it's all on the dice rolls, and But like, if you want to do a build where you have things go on whenever you critical, and you just constantly throw out rerolls to your party for your party to use, then Lord's Alliance Agent is not a bad bit. But on to Research Honor. When an enemy you can see deals damage to an ally of yours that was within 5 feet of you, you get advantage on your next attack roll against that enemy before the end of your next turn. Before the end of your next turn. End of your next turn. I mean, yeah, that's all right. I mean, if you have, I mean, surely it'll come up, I imagine, because you're. Okay, so the ally has to be within 5 feet of you. Yeah, I mean, you still might have party rogue, or if they're doing like a melee rogue, or the barbarian. They're probably gonna hit the barbarian, because the barbarian is gonna be like, reckless attacking and stuff like that. And then you get advantage, and it all works out. And then maybe your weapon has. What is it, the Vex property or something? Like, if you hit, you have advantage on the next one, or if you miss, you have advantage on the next one. I don't remember. But the main thing here is Inspiring Strike. Inspiring Strike could turn taking the champion fighter into an actual build choice. Not that there's anything wrong with the champion fighter, it just doesn't do as much as the Battle Master or the Eldritch Knight or the Psy Warrior. So it's not as like flashy of a choice. But maybe it could be if you take this and you crit on a 19 or a 20, which essentially doubles your chance of critting, because you go from like a 1 in 20 to a 2 in 20, and technically doubling your critical chance, right? Anyway, onto the purple dragon Rook. You get the following benefits: Entreat and Rallying Cry. You get proficiency in one of these skills: Insight, Performance, and Persuasion. Always good to have an additional skill proficiency, because your background's also gonna give you one, and sometimes your species does too, and so does your class. So you can just kind of skill monkey it up. But Rallying Cry is whenever you roll initiative and don't have the incapacitated condition, you can choose a number of creatures equal to your proficiency bonus at which you can see within 30 feet of yourself. And they get heroic inspiration. You can only use it once per long rest. That is pretty decent, I think. Giving everybody a free reroll every single time. Well, depending on how many combats you have in a day before each long rest. But I mean, it's not bad. It is certainly not bad, I think. Because a reroll on pretty much anything is pretty okay. It's pretty solid. Like, it's not the greatest thing in the world, to be honest, but if you roll a 1, you're definitely going to want to burn your heroic inspiration on that, because you have a slightly less chance to roll a 1 again, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, it's reliable. You're gonna use it. It's not like that this feature isn't gonna go unused, unless all of your friends are holding on to their heroic inspiration like a fiend, like me, because I'm stingy, and I play stingy as all hell with my resources. When I'm a spellcaster, I try not to use a lot of my spells if I can help it, because I don't know, even though I only have 1 or 2 combats before a long rest typically at my casualty tables, I still, for some reason, keep playing conservative like that. I don't know. It's a thing with me. I try to be conservative when I can. Yeah. Maybe because I want to have the option to cast spells out of combat later? It was a player flaw with me, I guess. Anyway, on to Spellfire Spark, which is you get the following benefits: Magic Absorption and Spellfire Flame. Once per turn, when you take damage from a spell or magical effect, you can reduce the total damage taken by 84, and you can't use it if you have the incapacitated condition. It's not bad. Certainly not. I mean, it's a D4, and it happens every time, well, once per turn. But like, you know, that's not once per round. So, I imagine, depending on how many things you're fighting, if you take damage from a spell or magical effect, you could reduce it by quite a few D4. You could potentially use this D4 quite a few times, but I don't know. I truly don't know how great it is. But the biggest thing though is it's for free once a turn, right? It's not a limited resource. It's just gonna be a constant reduced by D4 every time you take damage from a spell or magical effect, which is it'll be useful. I don't know how useful, but it'll be useful. You know, sometimes it really does come down to that, to 1 to fucking 4 hit points, you know? It really can. So this could stat over a combat, depending on what class you're playing or how in danger you are all the time. It really could stack up. So I'm not gonna knock on it too much. But Spellfire Flame, you learn the Sacred Flame cantrip. You get to choose one of the mental stats for your spellcasting ability for it, and you can cast it as a bonus action a number of times. God. You can cast this cantrip as a bonus action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. You regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. I mean, if you don't get anything to use your bonus action on, then a free cantrip a couple times a day isn't gonna. I mean, it's not gonna be the most impactful thing in the world, but it'll be something. You'll be using it on something, you know? So I mean, Sacred Flame, it's one of the cantrips that is a saving throw. I guess they did buff it that they get no benefit of cover from it. So that's not bad. Forgive me if I yawn. Like I said, it's like 10 p.m. It's 10:36 actually. Yeah, I mean, it's radiant damage, and it'll increase as you level up. So even if you're not a spellcaster, you'll still get. I mean, your DC will probably be low, and it does fuck all if you fail, if they succeed the saving throw. But Spellfire Spark is all right. This again just happens for free, basically every turn. So you can't knock on it too much, you know? You can't knock on it too much. Not too much. But anyway, going on to Tyro of the Gauntlet. I think Tyro? You get stand as 1 and vigilant. When an ally within 5 feet of you is subjected to an effect that would push or pull it, you can take a reaction to prevent that. And they can't have the incapacity condition. Vigilant, when you take the ready action, you gain the next attack roll. The next attack roll made against you has disadvantage for the start of your next turn. Let's be real here. Stand as 1 here is kind of not great. Definitely not great, because you have to be within 5 feet of the ally, and they gotta be subjected to an effect that would push or pull it. And for whatever reason, they can't be incapacitated. But I guess if you get, well, let's see. You can't take reactions when you're incapacitated, so I mean, you couldn't use this anyway. So, it's for some reason, I don't know why. It's if the ally it doesn't have the incapacitation condition, doesn't work on it. But I don't know. But it's kind of a niche case scenario this here. Definitely a niche case scenario. I'm not 100% sure how great. Like I've said before in the previous videos, I'm not entirely an optimancer or an optimizer or anything like that. I like to know what's good. And I like to watch videos on what's good and what people generally think about things, so I can take that into account when I build characters. But I'm more concerned with just like fulfilling whatever character fantasy I'm trying to build, even if it's like not the best it could be. Like, I try to make it the best it could be in that niche, you know? But Vigilance could be, I mean, you're not taking the ready action a whole ton in my experience. It's not that it doesn't happen often. It just happens, just it's on like the lower end of things that happen. Because sometimes you really just are like preparing, like the enemy is invisible or something, and you're trying to prepare yourself for as soon as they become visible, you're striking out at them, you know, or you're readying a spell or whatnot. Again. Oh god, why am I recording at 10 p.m? I don't know. Maybe it's because I just wanted to get the video out sooner. Anyway, I think that's all my thoughts on here. I'm not a great origin feat, I'm thinking. But yeah, you choose whatever you want to choose. Anyway, Zhentarim Ruffian. I think it's the Zhentarim. I think it is. Ooh. I hate this spell. I hate this spell so much. I really do. I've only disliked it more since my spell video. Thinking about it more and like having to edit that thing. Anyway. I'm off topic. You get Zhentarim Ruffian, goddamn. You get exploit opening and family first. When you roll damage for an opportunity attack, you can roll the damage dice twice and use either roll against the target. And if you have Heroic Inspiration, when you roll initiative, you can expend it to give yourself and your allies advantage on the initiative roll. I think Zhentarim Ruffian is probably one of the better origin feats here because its upgrade is pretty interesting. But also, damage dice reroll, not bad, but giving everybody an advantage on initiative as long as you have Heroic Inspiration, and with how many ways that they added to get Heroic Inspiration more often, so you're interacting with that thing more than you were in the previous in 2014 rules. I think this might come up more often than you'd think. You know, like if you're a human, you get this like immediately every day, right? I think that's one of the human features is that you get inspired every day, something along those lines. I'm not 100% sure, but giving your entire party an advantage on the initiative roll could be pretty good. And definitely worth a reroll, I think. Like, I much rather give, one reroll on something versus my entire party an advantage on the initiative roll. Having us go and fuck things up before they get a chance to fuck us up. Definitely worth it, in my opinion. But yeah, that is all the origin feats. So let's go on to all the general feats. Oh lord, what am I doing to myself tonight? Anyway, Cold Caster. It's a general feat, have to be level 4. Level 4 or higher. You get the following benefits. You get an ability score increase to one of the mental stats. You get to learn Riot Frost for free if you don't already know it. If you don't know it already, if you already know it, you learn a different wizard cantrip of your choice that uses one of the mental stats that you chose. Why? I was about to ask why am I yawning, but it's almost 11 now. And then you get Frostbite. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack roll, you deal cold damage. You can temporarily negate the creature's defenses. The creature subtracts 1d4 for the next saving throw it makes before the end of your next turn. So, I don't like I'm not sure I would take an entire Coldcaster disappoints me, because I'm all for adding more feats for spellcasters to focus in on certain damage types, to be like, if you want to be the cold wizard, you want to just focus on cold damage, or a sorcerer, a draconic sorcerer that just focuses on cold damage or something. This is a pretty minor benefit. Not that subtracting a d4 from a saving throw can't be pretty good, especially if you're a sorcerer, like I'm saying, and you freaking you quicken spell Ray of Frost or something. If you don't ever Ray of Frost, you quicken spell Ray of Frost. Yeah, because you're in Sorcery Incarnate, probably. You have advantage on this attack roll, and you have your DC buffed by 1. You Ray of Frost them real quick, and then you hit them with something bigger with your actual action. And maybe that's a good combo to have. Maybe that's not a bad combo to do. Just to give yourself a better shot. Just to give yourself a better shot at them failing the saving throw. I mean, minusing a d4 from it is certainly not bad. Certainly not bad. That's the use case scenario I can think of. And I do try my best to think of things, or even nicher things when I can. Because I just like existing in a stream of endless thought. But anyway, yeah, I still think it's pretty niche though. That's the only scenario I could think of where that could be helpful, is on a sorcerer. And honestly, it wouldn't be terrible. You can get increased to a charisma, but there's certainly better feats for that, I think. But it's not bad. It's not entirely awful. It's just not great. But on to Dragonscarred, which is the general feat prerequisite upgrade to the Cult of the Dragon feat that we talked to earlier. You get to increase your Constitution or Charisma. You get a damage resistance as a feat. That's not bad. Let's go. Getting a feat to get a damage resistance is not the worst trade-off in the world, in my opinion, guys. In my opinion, not the worst. And then you get Fearsome Power. When you deal damage to a creature as part of the attack or magic action on your turn, you can use the Dragon's Terror benefit from Cult of the Dragon initiated as a bonus action on this turn. I do again wish if you could choose what mental stat the save, honestly, this makes me even more confused, because you can only increase Constitution or Charisma, right? For this feat. So why why at minimum, why isn't the original thing like a Charisma saving throw against being feared? I guess because technically, like, fears are generally a wisdom save. Or wait, I was talking about the scaling. The scaling not of the DC is only on wisdom for some reason. Right. Correcting myself mid thought. I still think if you could choose which one it could be, this could be potentially interesting. It could be. But because it's locked to wisdom, but this one increases charisma, it just leaves me a little confused. But hey, a damage resistance? And there's ways to like stack multiple of those. Like say you picked one of the races with like 2 damage resistances, and then you picked like a class that has like barbarian or something that gives you damage resistance. And then you pick up this feat later because it's Constitution. That's not nothing. And you get another one. You're stacking some damage. You could be stacking some pretty good damage resistance. But anyway, Onto Enclave Magic, which is the upgraded version of the Emerald Enclave Fledgling. You get to increase your wisdom, charisma, or your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma by 1, and mental stats. That's good. You get friend animals. You have advantage on ability checks when taking the influence action with beasts. And then you have 2 hearts, 1 mind. You always have the beast sense spell prepared. Touch a willing beast that you can see through. Yeah, casting once without a spell slot. You gain the ability to cast it on a fish on long rest. When you cast it with a spell slot, it doesn't require concentration. You can also cast a spell with spell slots, blah, blah, blah. I mean, speak with animals, to be honest here, is already kind of a niche spell. Not niche, because there's always going to be animals around, probably. There's always going to be beasts around. But beast sense is, like, one super fucking niche. Super niche. You could just get, like, if you wanted this kind of thing, you could just take a magic initiate, get the 5 familiar spell, and probably accomplish that way more effectively. You get advantage on talking to beasts, and at least you're increasing your wisdom, an ability score, but not great. It doesn't even matter that it doesn't use concentration. It's just a niche spell. It's a niche spell. Anyway, onto Fairy Trickster, which just has the prerequisite of 4th level, or being 4th level or higher. You get increased dexterity charisma. You take the disengage action. On sharing difficult terrain doesn't cost you extra movement for the rest of that turn. And Fluttering Strike. When you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can attempt to fluster the target. The target must succeed a wisdom saving throw. DC plus the ability modifier, use the score, or disadvantage on saving throws until the end of your next turn. And you can use this equal to your proficiency bonus and regain them on a long rest. That is pretty not bad. Dexterity or charisma. Some of the first things that come to mind for me are a warlock or a rogue, right? Because the rogue, because of the fairy trotter, the fairy trotter. That's what that feature's called. Rogues can disengage all the time. Monks can too, actually, now that I think about it. But I don't know why you could take it because of dexterity. Yeah, this could be not bad for a monk, now that I think about it. Oh yeah, actually, now that I think about it, you take this on like a monk or something, you smack him once, and you inflict the Fluttering Strike. And it doesn't prevent you from attempting this more than once a turn. So you could bam, Fluttering Strike them, and then if it doesn't work, bam, Fluttering Strike them again. If it does work, then you can bam another time on your bonus action and try to Stunning Strike the motherfucker, and they have disadvantage on the saving throw. That could not be not terrible. On top of the synergy of being able to do it, inflict disadvantage for the next time for a spellcaster, or if you're a warlock doing that, or you're because it's an attack roll, which means it could be a spell attack, could be a ranged attack, could be a melee attack. So you can take this on a paladin. You can take this on. Oh man, yeah. Now that I think about it, you could take it on a paladin, because you could increase paladins might want their charisma up. They probably definitely do. Then you hit a creature, and then attempt to fluster them. If the fluster works, then they'll have disadvantage on the save that they're about to make for the smite you're about to do. As long as you can choose the order of effects that go off. And they will have disadvantage on the saving throw against the smite you're about to do if you chose one of the smites that have a saving throw. I think Fairy Trickster has a lot of potential uses and a lot of potential places, both for some of the spellcasters and some of the classes as well. Like Monk or Rogue or Paladin or freaking Warlock or Sorcerer. Definitely something of interest. And even on like a fighter, like a dexterity. God, another yawn comes. Ugh. Sorry. And on a fighter, I mean, you can attempt on a dex fighter or something, or on archer or something. You could do this to try to help out your spellcaster friends. Is that worth it for you to take this feat? I don't know, but maybe it does have, like, it's giving me ideas. It's giving me ideas, and now I'm gonna have to think about this every time I play a paladin, like a dex paladin, or a rogue or a monk. I'm gonna have to think about Fairy Trickster, because it could be good. It could be not bad. But anyway, moving on to Genie Magic. You get to increase one of your mental stats, or you get Wish Magic. As a magic action, you cast one first level spell of your choice on the sorcerer spell that has a casting time of an action. To use this benefit, you can't do so again for long rest. Spell casting time is the ability blah blah blah. When you reach 11th level, you can cast this feat as though it was using a 2nd level. Oh god. 7th level, it's a 3rd level. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, this is not great. By level 11, people are gonna be having, like, what is it? 7th level spells? And then level 17, that's 9th level spells? You're casting a 3rd level one? You're not even casting a 3rd level spell, you're casting a 1st level spell upcasted to 3rd level. Not that there aren't, some 1st level spells that might be worth upcasting, but, like, ew. Maybe if this spell gave you, oh god. Sorry, I'm a little loopy right now. It's almost 11. I'm going crazy. I gave myself this task after work tonight because I wanted to. I was excited to come here and yap about stuff. Anyway, off topic. I apologize. I just gotta hope you're down to hear me ramble. I'll have some music or something. Anyway. I can't even think of a good case use scenario for this. Because it's one of the mental stats, so, like, probably not a martial character taking any of these. And if you're not a martial character, you're probably a full spellcaster, or I mean, I know, I seriously can't think of any case scenario where this would be great, where this would be okay. I think this is just bad. I apologize, but it's just not great. It's just not good. Level 11 to cast your 1st level spell as a 2nd level spell. Level 17 to cast your 1st level spell as a 3rd level spell. Ugh, yeah. Gross. It's just, what? I really don't like being too negative. Honestly, I really don't. But this, I can't think. I usually try to think of some scenario where this could be good, but I can't do it. I can't. So I'm just gonna move on to Harper Teamwork. It's the upgraded version, level 4 of the Harper Agent feat, and you increase Dexterity Charisma by 1. You get Withering Wordplay and Inspiring Willpower. When you take the help action to assist an ally's attack roll against the enemy, that enemy also has disadvantage on the first saving throw it makes before the start of your next turn. And then Inspiring Willpower is if you succeed on the saving throw and the frightened or paralyzed condition on yourself, you can choose one ally you can see within 30 feet of yourself that has the same condition. That condition immediately ends for that ally. So, let's be real here. Inspiring Willpower is incredibly niche. Incredibly niche. Because for this to have any effect at all, you need to fail the save against frightened or paralyzed. Those two specific conditions. You need to succeed the saving throw on frightened or paralyzed condition on yourself, and then you can choose every ally and have them succeed as well. And you can have that effect on them end as well. So, I imagine you guys would have needed to be targeted by an effect like Dragon Fear or something, and have your ally fail it, but you don't fail it, and you just make them succeed. I mean, nobody wants to be paralyzed. I mean, frightened is not too bad, but no one wants to be paralyzed. Like, paralyzed is bad. Paralyzed is real bad. Real bad. Because if anything gets up into combat with you, instant automatic crits. If it's melee attacks, if it's the attacker is within 5 feet of you. Not good. Nobody wants to be paralyzed, and being able to just remove that free is great and all, but it also required an AoE effect, and for you to make the saving throw and for somebody else to fail for this to do anything, which is not the best. Very niche. Very. Don't see it happening often. Just being honest. But Withering Wordplay. Whenever you take the help action to assist an ally's attack roll against the enemy, that enemy also has disadvantage on the first saving throw. So I was thinking so generally, as far as I know, people don't regard the 2 Harper feats as very, very good. For full reason, because, why would you take the help action whenever you could just make attacks, right? Or you could just do something. I don't know. But I was thinking of a build, and it was while I was going over the Banneret fighter. I was thinking of like a non-magical party buffer for whatever reason. Would a spellcaster party buffer be better? Abso-fucking-lute. But I was thinking of it just to think of a build, and I was thinking of, you take Hobgoblin, you take the Mastermind Rogue, the rogue that can take a help action as a bonus action within 30 feet. You take the Hobgoblin, and you get the level 4 with Harper Teamwork. You could help 2 people from 30 feet away. You can help as a bonus action, and you can help as an action. You help 2 people. How good is that? I don't know. Honestly, now that I'm thinking, I'm gonna assume that's not very great. And full reason. But it's the first thing that came to mind to me. For some reason, I'm always trying to think outside the box for random weird interactions and playstyles that I can come up with. And that's the one. Being able to help 2 times in a turn. Not and then you get this little buff on it. You get this little buff on there. I just want that's what I wanted to share. On to a Lordly Resolved, which is the upgraded version at level 4 of Lord's Alliance feat that you can take if you want to. 4 or plus. You get in strength or charisma by 1. On Standard Bearer, as a bonus action, you can choose 3 creatures within 60 feet of yourself that can see you. Each target can immediately take in a reaction to right itself and end the prone condition, provided its speed isn't 0. Additionally, you bolster the target's resolve, which lasts for 1 minute. You have until you have the incapacitated condition. While bolstered, the target cannot be possessed or gain the charmed or frightened condition. If the target is already possessed, charmed, or frightened, the target has advantage on the new saving throw against the relevant effect, and you can only use it once per long rest. I also think that this is kind of niche. I mean, as a bonus action, you yell at everybody to get off their ass, which they have to use the reaction to do, and then for 1 minute everybody has advantage. Can't be charmed or frightened. It has, if they are charmed, frightened, or possessed. And if they are charmed, frightened, or possessed, they have advantage on the new saving throw against the relevant effect. I mean, against the right thing that you're fighting, it could be useful to just not have to deal with it constantly charming or frightening everybody, right? It could be, but it's just niche on what type of thing that you're fighting that you're gonna need this. But, you know, I like the flavor. Just yelling at everybody to get off their ass. Play that one Genos meme. Hey, future me that's editing, play the one Genos meme. And then play it a 3rd time. I'll figure that out later. I'll figure out how to play gifts. I definitely will figure it out. Anyway. Editing is new for me, so I just gave myself a challenge for later. Sorry if you hear me moving around in my chair. I'm just yapping and trying to be comfortable. On to Mythal Touched. You gain the prerequisite of a 4th or above. You get to increase one of the mental stats by 1 to a maximum of 20, and you get the Mythal Ward. Your spell attack hits you, or you fail a saving throw against the spell, you can take a reaction and roll on the Mythal Touched table to create a magical effect. This effect requires a saving throw. DC equals 8 plus the modifier of the ability increased by this feat and your proficiency bonus. I do love myself a table of random bullshit. We love a table of random bullshit. So let's go through it. If you roll a 1 and 2, you and each creature within 15 feet must make a dexterity saving throw or taking 4th damage equal to a d8 times the level of the triggering spell. Equal to a d8 times the level of the triggering spell on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful. Oh no, that could be bad. That could be real bad. That really could be bad. Because, like, if it's a d8 times the level of the triggering spell, like, am I dumb? Does that mean, like, you roll a number? No, it would say if you roll a number of d8s equal to the level of the spell. So if it's a d8 times the level of the spell. So if you, depending on what spell is cast upon you, it could be like 8 times, like 7 or something. Like, you could roll an 8 and then it'd be times 7, and that could be a lot of damage to you and everybody around you. Yeesh. Yeah. On a 3 to 7, you and the triggering spell's caster form a telepathic link for 1 hour. How helpful. How helpful. You can tell them you're a bitch in their mind. You're a bitch, you're a bitch, you're a bitch. You're a bitch. Sorry. I've been playing Dispatch lately. And you're a bitch and your name's Robert. You have no hopes, you have no dreams, and a tiny little piece. I can't help. I've been having that song stuck in my head until I haven't even played those chapters upon the recording of this video. But I've seen, that's the only thing I've had spoiled, and it's been stuck in my brain. Anyway, on an 8 to 10, gravity is reversed in a 15-foot radius, 60-foot tall cylinder centered on you for 1 minute per the reverse gravity spell, which is a 7th level spell, potentially cast accidentally from as early as level 4. Oh, centered on you. This is a wild magic table built for punishing you specifically. It's real. It's not, because you're gonna fall upward, and then, I mean, nobody's concentrating on the reverse gravity spell, so it's just gonna be like that for a minute unless somebody dispels it, and then everybody's gonna fall. On an 11 to 13, you and the triggering spellcaster must each make a Constitution saving throw. On a fail save, the creature has the stun condition until the end of its next turn. That's not giving yourself the stun condition is not great. It's not good. It could be good if you succeed the save and the caster doesn't. That could be not bad. But on a 14 to 17, you gain a +2 bonus AC for a minute, potentially triggering the spell's effect. Turn the spell's effect into a miss if it was a spell attack. Not the worst. I mean, +2 AC bonus for the minute. Not terrible. Another yawn attack. Another yawn attack. It's on me for choosing to record at 11 p.m. now. Yeah, I mean, also, I guess, stacks the shield spell for the minute. Granted, you would have to take reaction to roll on this table instead of just casting the shield spell. And I figure you would probably just cast the shield spell if you knew it would work. But anyway, on an 18 to 19, any flammable, non-magical action within 10 feet of the triggering spell's caster that isn't being worn or carried by another creature bursts into flame, taking 1d4 fire damage and is burning. Yeah. I mean, the spell that you made the dude roll the saving throw on, still takes effect, but then you set him on fire for 1d4 right there. Another one! Sorry, guys. And then for the last one, if you roll a nat 20 on your Mythal Touched magic, the triggering spell dissipates with no effect, and the action, bonus action, or reaction used to cast it is wasted. If the spell was cast with a spell slot, it is not expended. You know, what's really happening is you're risking all of this nonsense for this. And the good thing is, is that if a spell attack hits you or you fail a saving throw against this spell, which this means it does work on AoE effects, right? If a spellcaster throws a fireball at you, or a hypnotic pattern, or something of that nature, and it hits you and a bunch of allies, you could roll another one. Sorry. Again, it's 11 p.m. You could roll another one and potentially just have the spell not go off, actually. Which means that it's just too much bad here happens, right? For this to realistically be worth taking. Except in one scenario. Listen here. I've thought of one scenario where this could be good to have. Is it better than any other option you could have chosen? No, not at all. No, slightly no. But If you are a divination wizard, you could take this feat and then wait till you have a nat 20 on your portent die and then use this. And then you can confirm that this would go off. However, that is a very niche case scenario and probably still wasting the feat. But it was the only thing I could think of to make this feat worth risking the reverse gravity, or to do potentially 1d8 times the level of the spell damage to everybody around you. It's the only thing I could think of. Anyway, I've had enough of talking about it. Going on to Order's Resilience, Tyro of the Gauntlet feat upgrade. Strength, Wisdom, or Charisma by 1. Resurge. When you have the prone condition, you can right yourself only with 5 feet of movement. Stronger Together. If you are within 5 feet of an ally that doesn't have the incapacitated condition, you and that ally have an advantage on the strength saving throws. You can't use this benefit while you have the incapacitated condition. Just like its origin feat, probably not good. Probably not good. Only having to use 5 feet to right yourself from prone is never like. It helps a little. It saves you some more movement speed so you can get out of a bad situation. But within 5 feet of an ally, you both have advantage on strength saving throws. I mean, maybe you just want to hug your party's barbarian all the time, just like sword and axe bros. You got this fighter that took this feat. You got a barbarian, and you're just fighting tooth and nail right next to each other all the time. But then again, the barbarian already has advantage on strength saving throws, so I don't even know. That just occurred to me. Apologies. I don't know. Order's Resilience is not amazing. On to Purple Dragon Commandant. You need the prerequisite of level 4 Purple Dragon Rook feat or the martial weapon proficient. So you don't really even need the Purple Dragon Rook feat for this one, which is a good thing to point out because it's or important wording there. Or any martial character can do this. Strength and Dexterity. Encourage ally. As a bonus section, you can bolster one ally within 30 feet. They gain 2d6 plus the modifier used in builds of temporary hit points. And you can take a bonus action equal to another times equal to your proficiency bonus. The Last Stand. You have advantage on attack rolls while bloodied. I don't think it's that bad. 2d6 plus the modifier 10 hit points as a bonus action. Not terrible, I think. Definitely not bad. I could think of maybe you can choose bolster one ally. Yeah. I don't think it's too bad. I was thinking of maybe the let's see. Let's do it live actually. Right here. Let me go look. Classes, Faerun, World Tree, Vital Surge. Yeah, Barbarian level. At the start of each of your turns, you can choose another creature within 10 for yourself to gain the temporary. Yeah, this doesn't require a bonus action, right? Start of each of your turns, you can choose another creature to gain temporary hit points. Yeah. That's the first thing that came to mind. Is if you're a World Tree Barbarian, you're already spreading temporary hit points to one person. Now this gives you an option to spread even more temporary hit points to a different person. In fact, I'm playing a Path of the World Tree Barbarian right now in a campaign. I might do that. Because if you're a barbarian, even when you're half HP and you're raging, yet that HP kind of means more. And so you wouldn't have to use reckless attack, right? And people can hit you normally, so you can just ignore the reckless attack and not take the disadvantage or the advantage to hit you. And I could be spreading even more temporary hit points around. Granted, it's only proficiency bonus times per long rest, but you know, so that's what I could think of. And I might actually take this because of that. I think it might not be too bad for that type of character. I can flavor it as like increasing my like increasing how much vitality I can spread around. I might use this. I might. Otherwise, I think it's alright if you don't have anything else to use on your bonus action. And it gives you strength or dexterity. So if you're not looking for, I don't know, Great Weapon Master or something or other, this isn't like terrible. But yeah. On to Spellfire Adept, which is the increased version of Spellfire Spark. In the prerequisite is level 4. The Spellfire Spark, or the spellcasting or patch magic creature. So you don't even need the Spellfire Spark. Goddamn, Spellfire Spark feat to get this. You get one of the wisdom, one of the mental scores. You get fueled Spellfire. Once per turn, when you cast a spell that deals radiant damage, you can expend 2 hit point dice, roll them, and then add the total to one of the damage dice on the spell. And then Searing Spellfire. When you make a damage roll that deals radiant damage, it ignores resistance to radiant damage. I think if I remember, radiant damage resistance is pretty rare. I think it's pretty rare, right? It's not that common of a damage resistance to get. And I've said it before when I was talking about that one spell I hate. But I'm pretty stingy with my hit dice. I don't know. This gives you an option to actually use them to help you out, deal some more damage. But I don't know. I like saving my dice. I don't know what it is. I just like saving my hit dice. So this doesn't read great for me personally. But you know, if the hit dice are always sitting around because you only have like one combat a day and then you have a long rest, then at least you're getting some use out of them, right? You're getting some kind of use out of them. On to Street Justice. Increase strength and dexterity. Headlock. Your allies have advantage on attack creatures. English. Reset the brain. Your allies have advantage on the attack rolls against the creature grappled by you. Sturdy knot. When you use chain, manacles, or rope to bind a creature, you add your proficiency bonus to the DC to escape first chain, rope, manacles. Okay. And then tough talk. Creature's hostile attitude doesn't impose disadvantage on your charisma intimidation checks to influence I mean, the things that come to mind are barbarians and monks here, right? Because monks get the part of their new feature is that they can grapple with dexterity, and then you're giving all of your allies advantage on attacks against your grappled creature, which definitely could not be great, not be bad. I mean, then barbarians are just good at grappling, because they're being strong, right? And yeah, it's an option. You could combine it with like the other grappling related features and stuff. Like, what is it, Grappler or Tavern Brawler? And then there's the one like unarmed fighting style, I think, that does something with grappling. And then you can if you want to build like a character focused around grappling, giving all of your allies advantage on attack rolls against the creature grappled by you is certainly something to think about. These other two features are whatever, honestly. Not having disadvantage if a creature is hostile to you because you're a tough motherfucker, cool, I guess. And then this could give you a reason to buy chain and manacles and rope and stuff more often. On to Zhentarim Tactics, though. You need to be 4th level and the Zhentarim Ruffian feat. And you get Dexterity or Charisma by 1. Immediately after a creature within 5 feet of you hits you with a melee attack, you can make an opportunity attack against that creature. Versatile Merc. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can choose a skill that you have proficiency. You have expertise in that skill until you finish, or until you finish, or your next long rest. Until you finish your next long rest. Sorry, I'm tired, and I for some reason decided to record this at 10 p.m. going till 11:30 right now. The first thing that came to mind when I read these 2 feats is, yo, I could make a barbarian that, you know, I'm gonna be reckless attacking, and then if they attack me, I can just hit them back each time. Like, and then I can combine that with like Sentinel or something, and then they're stuck with me. But it then was pointed out to me this is that because of the, you know, Dex and Charisma. Yeah, Dex is not useless for a barbarian. It helps you increase your AC. But Charisma definitely not. This is probably for rogues getting extra sneak attack on extra rounds, right? But it requires you to be hit, and then you can. It does require you to be hit. Sorry, I'm tired, but I'm gonna get through it, guys. I'm gonna get through it. Am I tired? Rambly state, which is even more rambly than I am normally. I just hope you guys find my nonsensicalness entertaining. But yeah, I think it's an alright feat. I do enjoy having expertise, a shiftable expertise in any skill of mine until the next long rest. Not bad. Not bad, I say. Not bad, I say. Not bad, I say. Not bad, I say. Even though rogues are already kind of like skill monkeys. But, you know, it's pretty good, I think. I think it's pretty good. You can do some interesting things here with Rogue and Sentinel. You can do some interesting things with getting more sneak attack more often as Rogue. You can do interesting things with Sentinel. You can do interesting things with hell, I could take this on a Warlock, maybe. If I go Zhentarim Ruffian and then Warlock, because it increases my charisma. And you know, I could also have Warcaster and make an opportunity attack, and when a Warcaster lets me make an opportunity attack, I can cast a spell on them. Granted, you know, as a Warlock, you don't have a lot of spell slots, but I also just thought of that. In any case, on to the epic boons. Oh Lord, I've got so many of them. So many epic boons. Do I want to do this part of the recording another time? Nah, I'm just gonna do it all tonight. I'm gonna do it all tonight and just leave it in for all of you to enjoy me being a tired, rambly mess. And remember, for all epic boons, you have the prerequisite of being level 19. Probably the second to last feature you're gonna get, if you even get this high. You know, not all campaigns even get to level 19, from what I hear. So, you know, keep it in mind. You get the following benefits. You can increase one ability score of your choice to a maximum of 30. This is the Boon of Bloodshed. Killer's Fortune. When an enemy you see reduces your hit points, you gain advantage on the next attack roll you make before the next turn. Then you get Power from Pain. Once per turn, when you make an attack roll while bloody, you can deal extra damage to the target equal to your proficiency bonus. Damage type is the same thing as your weapon. In terms of epic boons, I'm not sure how great it is. I'm not sure. Adding your proficiency bonus at this level is like another 6 damage. But is it really enough? It's once per turn. Is it really enough for your epic boon? I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think so. I don't think the Boon of Bloodshed is that great. But, you know, maybe like I said, I'm not fully an optimancer, so an optimizer. So maybe it is better than I think it is. You never know. On to Boon of Bountiful Health. You won ability score of your choice. When you get temporary hit points, you can increase the temporary hit points you gain by 5. Then Superior Repercussion. When you spend 1 or more hit dice to regain hit points, you can use instead the highest number possible for each dice. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. I mean, only increasing it by 5 is not another yawn attack. Honestly, for an epic boon, I would think that the what would be impactful as an epic boon if it lifts the restriction on temporary hit points, where they don't stack. On you, they stack. If you take this boon, they stack. That could get crazy. That could get crazy, wild, crazy. And it's okay if it got crazy, wild, crazy, because you're level fucking 19. And wizards are changing the fabric of reality right now. Okay? It's okay. At this level, it would be okay if temporary hit points stack. I think. That would have been nuts. That would have been suitably insane. Or cool. Because you can make a build around it, you know? Granted, you have it for another, I don't know, couple fights before the campaign ends, if you even got this far. But, you know, it's an epic boon. Lifting the temporary hit point restriction could have been really cool. Anyway, Boon of Communication. You increase your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma by 1 to a maximum of 30. Cunning Speaker, you don't have disadvantage on ability checks to influence hostile creatures. Gifted Interpreter, you understand the literal meaning of any language you hear or see signed. You can understand the literal meaning of any language you see. And you gain telepathy to a range of 20 feet. This allows you to just kind of communicate with anybody in the world. Anyone in the world that you can communicate with here. Your epic boon. You are so good at interpreting that you can communicate with any creature of the world. It's okay. It's alright, I guess. For your epic boon, almost ended the campaign thing, I probably wouldn't choose it unless it fit the character to do so, I guess. But that's all I can think of. A Boon of Desperate Resilience. You increase your strength and constitution to a maximum of 30. While you are bloodied, you have resistance to every damage type except force. Now that's not bad. Granted, you would have to be half HP to even get this effect, but that's not a bad effect. You get the half HP and you get a shit ton of damage resistance to pretty much everything. And there are ways to get resistance to force damage too. Not terrible. Not too bad, I think. Not too bad. Not too bad. Boon of Exquisite Radiance. 1 ability score of your choice to 30. Creatures you reduce to 0 hit points can't become undead. And then Powerful Radiance. When you make the damage roll that deals radiant damage, you can instead use the highest number possible for each damage die. Once you use this benefit, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. Now this could be good on like a cleric or something, you know? Because a cleric or something are probably doing a lot of radiant damage. There's probably a way to make some insane numbers with this thing, I imagine. I think. So it could not be bad. It could not be bad. It's definitely asking for like a cleric to take it or something like that. But you know, being able to max out an entire like 9th level spell radiant damage thing, could be interesting. But, Boon of Fluid Forms. You increase one of your mental scores to a maximum of 30. By 1 to a maximum of 30, I mean. Shape Changer. When you take the magic action, you can shapeshift into any beast, humanoid, or monstrosity with a challenge rating of no higher than 10. When you shapeshift, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to the hit points of the form. And the shapeshifting effect lasts for an hour and ends early if you have no temporary hit points left. They're replaced from the storm, but you get to retain your creature type, alignment, personality, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, swords, hit points, hit dice, proficiency's ability to communicate. If you have the spellcasting and magic creature, you regain it too. Upon shapeshifting, you determine whether you're blah blah blah, and then hardy transformation. When you get temporary hit points, when you shapeshift, you increase the number of temporary hit points by 20. I think that this is like obviously begging for a what is it, a moon druid to take, right? This is just a moon druid thing, I'd imagine. You increase the temporary hit points by a shit ton, and you get access to humanoids, monstrosities with a challenge rating up to 10. On top of the other moon druid features, not bad, not bad, not bad. And not just druids can take this. If you're a wizard or sorcerer or warlock wanted for some reason to be able to do this, certainly interesting. I could maybe think of like a changeling warlock. They take Mask of Many Faces, they take all the shape changing stuff, and then they take this as their final thing. Not terrible, not terrible, not terrible. Boon of Fortune's Favor. One ability score of your choice up to 1, max 30. If you fail a saving throw, you can reload it, choose a new roll. Once you use it, I don't think this is that great. It is definitely not good. You know what is better than this? You know what's better than this? 4th level freaking Mage Slayer that doesn't even... You just decide to succeed. And that's not the only thing Mage Slayer does. This is a fucking... yeah. Not great. Not great in my opinion. I could just take Mage Slayer here and have a better feature than this. Unfortunate. Boon of Poison Mastery. Increase one of your ability scores by 1, max of 30. Anti-toxic, you immune to the poison condition and the poison damage in the poison condition. That's not bad. You can do some interesting things like that with like Stinking Cloud or something. Granted, at this level, probably anything you could be fighting is also immune to the poison or poison condition. Once per turn, when you roll dice to determine poison damage a creature takes from your attack, spell, or feature, you can instead use the highest number possible for each die. Which I think would be definitely very interesting if, again, everything at this level probably has resistance or immunity to poison damage and the poison condition. But you know what? I would take an immunity. An immunity is pretty rare. I would take it. On the right character. Not every character, but on the right one. Boon of Revelry. Sorry. When you increase your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma by 1 to a maximum of 30, you always have the autos or irresistible dance spell prepared. You can cast it without spelling a spell slot. You regain the ability to cast it when you finish a real long rest. You can also cast a spell using any spell slots you have the appropriate level. When you cast a spell, it requires no components. Taking damage doesn't break your concentration on it. Which, I mean, autos irresistible dance prevents them from doing, like, fuck all. And then sing out when a creature fails its saving throws against autos irresistible dance. It has the charm condition from that spell. It can't cast spells with a verbal components as it seems delightful nonsense. I don't know if this is a worth a 19th level freaking feature. Surely there are better ones. That's getting close to 12. But I'm getting through it. I am. I'm gonna have a fun time editing me later. Haha. Fuck you, future self. Anyway. Yeah. Otto's irresistible dance. I don't know if it's worth that at this level. There's probably better things you could do. There's probably better things you can do. On to Boon of Terror. Fearless. You increase one. You increase your charisma score by 1 to a max of 30. Fearless. You have immunity to the frightened condition. Flee, fools! When a creature within the fright condition starts its turn within 60 feet of you, you can take reaction to stoke its terror, provided you can see the creature and isn't behind total cover. If you do so, it must succeed a wisdom saving throw against your charisma modifier proficiency bonus stuff, or spend its turn moving away from you as fast as possible means. Once you use this benefit, you can't use it until you finish a short or a long rest. Another one. We're almost there. I promise. I'll go to sleep after the recording's done. Anyway, you also get proficiency in intimidation if you don't already have it, and get expertise in it. I don't know. I probably wouldn't choose this as my epic boon either. I mean, immunity to a frightened condition is pretty cool, but you know what gets that immediately? Undead Warlock at level 1. I guess now 3, because that's when you get your Warlock subclass. Undead Warlock at level 3 gets immunity to the frightened condition. You know what also gets immunity to the frightened condition? What is it? The Devotion Paladin at level 6 or 7? Come on. Also, you could have done any. It's okay. It's all right. I wish I could. I got excited when I first read this because I thought I could stack it up with my Fear Undead Warlock build thing that I like to do sometimes. But, not great. Boon of the Bright Sun. You increase your Constitution, Wisdom, or Charisma score by 1 to a max of 30. As a bonus action, you can emit a bunch of light in a 30-foot aura around you. If any of this emanation aura overlaps with the area of darkness created by a spell, that spell is dispelled. The emanation lasts until you dismiss it. No action required. Bro, you could just be annoying and be a fucking sun constantly if you want, until somebody knocks your ass out. Anyway, Fortifying Light. When your daylight presence is active, at the start of each of your turns, allies can see it gain 10 temporary hit points. I mean, at this level, man, 10 temporary hit points is nothing. I don't know about this one, guys. I don't know about this one. It seems kind of stinky. I mean, being able to just be a walking dispel magic against magical darkness is pretty cool, like thematically, but only 10? It couldn't have been like 20 or 30 or something? Rude. Straight rude. Straight rude. Very unfortunate. Unfortunately. Very unfortunate. Fortunate. But, anyway. On to the Boon of the Ferocious Storm. One of your mental stats increases by 1 to a maximum of 30. Eye of the Storm. You have resistance to lightning and thunder damage. When you are bloodied, you have immunity to lightning and thunder damage. Not bad. I will 2 immunities, even if it's only with the bloodied condition. Not terrible. Especially, if you're fighting something like that. Well, it's a pretty niche choice now, I think. It's a pretty niche choice, I think. because, you know, whatever. Anyway, Storm Strength. Creatures have disadvantage on saving throws against your spells that deal lightning and thunder damage. That, however, could be fun if you're building like a lightning and thunder damage character. Lightning and thunder damage to your turn. God, I want the Storm Sorcerer updated so bad. I love the Storm Sorcerer. Give me the Storm Sorcerer. I would take this feat on the Storm Sorcerer. No shot, bro. No shot. I would take this feat on the Storm Sorcerer. Or the fucking Storm, like, domain of, what's the Storm Domain? Cleric? The Storm Domain Cleric? I would take this on that too. Maybe. Maybe. The issue with both of those is that they already get lightning and thunder damage resistance, which is kind of rough, like double stacking like that. But what can you do? Anyway, last one before I end the video and go to bed. You gain the ability score increase from a 1 to a maximum of 30. Your resistance to cold and necrotic damage. Oh, it's called Boon of the Soul Drinker, by the way. Then you get Siphon Life. When an enemy within 120 feet of you is reduced to 0 hit points, you can take a reaction to gain 50 hit points. When you use this benefit, you can't finish short or long. Now this is pretty cool. 2 damage resistances, and first time something dies around me, I get 50 hit points. I'll take it. I could take that on a character if it fit right. I would take that on a character if it fit right, because it's thematic and cool. I think it's thematic and cool. The issue I could oversee is that any character that I think it might be thematic that fit right on this might already have resistance to cold and necrotic damage. But oh well. In any case, guys, that has been all of the feats and epic boons, all the origin feats, the general feats. I'm gonna have a fun time editing this later. And maybe I kind of rushed a little bit because I wasn't thinking as much. I mean, I shared some thoughts, but I wasn't thinking so much on everything because I'm a little tired. And maybe I should have recorded this when I wasn't a little tired, but whatever. I think I got all my thoughts across on all of these, because honestly, for feats and stuff that you don't need to think about, like it is an important character choice. Don't get me wrong, but spells and subclasses are like a more dynamic one, if that makes sense. I don't know. I might just be loopy and talking for no reason. But yeah, there's a lot of things here, but there's a lot of variety, a lot of potential things that you could use for a build, a lot of potential things that are just not useful at all, but you never know. In any case, I hope you guys have a good time zone, or I hope you guys have had a good time listening to me tiredly ramble about all this stuff. Apologize if I'm completely off bonkers here, but it's just how it goes sometimes. And I appreciate you being here anyway. In any case, you know, if you happen to like me rambling at nonsense like this, then like, share the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. I've also got my Discord server down in the description below. Feel free to join my community. I'm kind of growing it there. I'm growing it. I'm happy to have some people of my own, and I'll be definitely playing games and stuff. And I'll definitely be, from now on, probably most certainly, covering any new D&D source books or player options that come out. And I'm sure the next video, maybe not the next video, but like the next D&D video that I make will be go over the latest Unearthed Arcana, because I will definitely cover those too. Because I like to talk about D&D, and I can talk about D&D for hours. In any case, I hope you all have a good time zone, and good night.